Hi, this is Mr. Schneider. This is podcast 3.1. Today we're talking about fundamental political principles. These are ideas that shape how our country's government is set up. Okay. First, citizens give authority to the government in exchange for protection of their rights. This is known as consent of the governed. This means we only have a government because the government only has powers because citizens have given government those powers. Okay, so the only reason our government is able to do things is because we as citizens say it's all right.
We need toys in our Caterpillar room, and you need to avoid that truck. Why don't you come on back, join our family again?
This isn't a family, it's a prison. You're a liar and a bully, and I'd rather rot in this dumpster than join any family of yours. Jesse's right. Authority should derive from the consent of the governed, not from the threat of force.
If that's what you want.
All right, thank you, Barbie, for your wise words there. So our government is also limited. It is not all powerful. The government cannot do whatever it wants. There are limits to what the government can do. And again, the government can only do what the people have given it the power to do. It can't do whatever it wants. The police can't show up at your house without a search warrant. Fairfax County can't raise a meals tax without letting the citizens vote for it. Okay?
Members of the Constitution wanted a limited government, one that couldn't oppress the people. They were especially afraid of a strong executive like a king in charge of a standing army, so they deliberately tried to curtail his powers by not giving him very many.
A long time ago, I said if men were angels, no government would be necessary. But since men and women definitely aren't angels, but rather very fallible human beings, they need to have some sort of government to keep them in line. I firmly believe, however, in the core principle of limited government. In a limited government, the government's powers and functions are restricted and carefully described in the Constitution and other legal documents.
All right, so again, the government can only do what's described for it in the Constitution. So rule of law, next one's rule of law, sorry. And rule of law means that the law applies the same to you, and to me, as it does to government officials. It doesn't matter if they're the president. It doesn't matter if they are a town council person. It does not even matter if they are a mayor during a town council or city council meeting.
You're following a developing story this morning. A South Texas mayor was arrested during a heated city council meeting. It happened late last night in Crystal City, which is near San Antonio. Mayor Ricardo Lopez was taken into custody right before a recall election to remove him and two other council members. It was discussed. The police chief said the mayor was inciting a riot. Last month, the city manager and three council members were arrested during a federal raid stemming from an ongoing corruption case.
All right, next. Democracy, which is our system of government, sort of. Really more of a republic. We'll talk about republican representative government in a moment. It's where the people rule. In our system of government, citizens are supposed to rule. Does that always happen? No, but that's the way it's supposed to work. Citizens are the most important part of our government.
Senator, there's a problem at the essay contest.
Please, son, I'm very busy.
A little girl is losing faith in democracy.
Good Lord!
Congressman, we want to drill for oil in Teddy Roosevelt's head.
Well,
Teddy who?
Congressman, you're under arrest.
You work fast.
I work for Uncle Sam. We will now vote on the House Bill 1022, the expulsion of Bob Arnold.
Mr. Speaker, I'm all for the bill, but shouldn't we tack on a pay raise for ourselves?
No!
Okay, this should make my bosses very happy.
Your bosses?
Yep, all 250 million of them.
All right, so we're the boss of the president. People would argue that this is the principles I just talked about have eroded over the years. That our government really doesn't work for us, and it's not limited, and that the consent of the governed is not always met. But that's how it's supposed to work, so that's how we're going to teach it. All right. So in a representative system of government, we elect people to make laws and conduct the business of government on our behalf. It would be nice if we had a direct democracy, but it would be too messy and it would take too long and nothing would ever get done. So when we elect people, we are hoping that they are going to follow the will of the people.
People in the nation, in the states, and in most localities for the most part, do not directly decide on policy. Rather, they choose their representatives who decide on their behalf. They make known their views to their representatives. They vote for their representatives. They lobby their representatives, but the representatives are the ones who are in the trenches, really trying to sort it out and to come to some kinds of settlements.
All right. And then the last two, I don't have videos for these. Sometimes it's hard to find videos coming to these things. So the first one is majority rule. So generally, the majority of people get to make decisions, get to elect people, and the government abides by their wishes. Just so you realize, majority rule does not mean mob rule. Even if you are, let's say we are electing a state senator, and the senator wins 57% of the vote. Well, that doesn't mean the 43% of the people that didn't vote for that person lose their rights as citizens. Just like in the election we just had, if you voted for Hillary Clinton or another candidate, that doesn't mean because Donald Trump became president that you lose your rights as a citizen. You still retain those rights. It just means that a majority of people in enough states voted for Donald Trump to become president. So, and it voted for Republicans to take control of both the House or retain control of the House or Senate. So right now they have the majority of the government. So they get to decide what happens. Your rights, if you're a Democrat or another party, you didn't vote for these people, your rights are still protected, but we work a system where the majority rules. All right, so that's podcast 3.1. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.